Grief isn't always loud. Sometimes it wears a power suit and looks like ambition and perfectionism. Sometimes we overfunction, get controlling, or we become the person who keeps fixing everything because slowing down might mean finally having to feel it. And who wants to feel things? Grief doesn't always mean death. Sometimes, like in my case, it's a parent who is still alive but never became the parent that you needed. It's a relationship you've had to release more than once, or it's the loss of a home, a tradition, an expectation, or the version of your life you thought would still be here. Today on Unbreakable, we're talking about the grief that no one sends casseroles for. Before we go there, we're taking you inside of the first week of the first ever Unbreakable practice lab. Josie, Meg, and I are testing William Tells All and asking, what changes when the voice shaping your mindset is your own? We get honest about how uncomfortable it can be to hear ourselves back, why generic affirmations don't always connect, and what started shifting when we made the practice personal and very intentional. Grace joins us as we unpack ambiguous loss, grieving people who are still alive, and the emotions that many of us were taught to suppress. We talk about why you cannot neurologically hack your way through grief, and trust me, I've tried. How expectations can keep a wound open, and why naming what you feel isn't weakness. It's emotional regulation and self-awareness. It's leadership. Being unbreakable doesn't mean bypassing pain or bullying yourself into moving on. It means allowing yourself to feel what you were never taught to name and choosing what you do with it next. And because this is me and my crew, we somehow travel from ambiguous loss to face bras, nipple eyes, and engineering chairs for people with backwards knees. Deep healing, but absolutely no adult supervision. Let's get into it. And welcome back, listeners, to another episode of the Unbreakable Podcast Network. I am your host, Kait Dinunzio. I am joined by my chief of staff, the beautiful Meg. And of course, everybody knows my producer and my creative director, Josie Cable. So welcome. Welcome. So before we jump in and before we even get into our debatables or our would you rathers, we just need to give a shout out to Meg's family. And what we want to do is the first thing we want to do is we just want to muppet a little bit. And we want to just wave our arms around. Megan, move a little more. And then Meg, maybe just give your hair a tuck.
Oh, okay.
Let's just not eat that fur. That, you know?
Yes. No stage 5 clinger hairs today.
No stage 5 clinger hair.
No.
It's the second time I've heard that today.
Stage 5 clinger?
I've never heard of the stage 5 clinger hair.
Oh, well, the stage 5 clinger is actually a thing. We know
it
that.
It is.
How's your week going, guys?
Individuals.
Oh, God, you guys are so funny.
Well.
I do know them as individuals as well. Okay, how's your week going?
Mine's been really good. I won a big piece for Oxford House and for the Indigenous programming. So I walked in only expecting to, not even get 10 to 15,000, and I walked out with 20 for the Oxford House Indigenous programming.
Interesting.
And now they're like, cool.
Interesting.
What else can you get us?
Yep. Pitter patter.
Yeah. But it was good.
Wonderful. Good. How about you, Meg? How's your week been? Breakneck?
Awesome. The week's been good. It's been a long week, but overall, we're good. We've gotten through it. So no complaints.
I feel that.
Other than the roasting that I got over my first podcast appearance, but that's okay.
That's okay.
You can only get
better.
We
love it.
Exactly.
You know what?
That's what my child told me.
That's exactly it. And you know what? I think that's just part of being in the public eye. Somebody always has an opinion about you.
And who needs to be worried about public opinions when you have a child who can roast you and tell you how bad you did? I mean,
calling out anybody here or anything.
I thought we'd share this lovely moment of when the episode aired. I was like, why don't you come watch with me? And she was like, no, but it's weird to see your face on the screen like that. And I was like, thanks. And then she's listening and she comes back over at one point. She's like, that doesn't sound like your voice. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that? And then at the end, because I'm like screaming at my hair and I'm cringing because I'm seeing myself, hearing my voice. And then at the end, I cringe and she cringes with me. And I'm like, was it that bad? And she's like, no, Mom, it's okay. It's your first time. You'll get better. And I was like, says the one who's never been on a podcast. But thank you.
Yeah.
Right. But she wants to be on a podcast. She wants to be on this podcast. And just wait, little Miss L, you are going to be on this podcast because if we've got something cooking, and that little one is participating with us. So
then you'll get to roast her. Right?
That's how resiliency is built. Like, honestly,
exactly.
I mean, we were raised roasted. Like, I mean, in the 90s.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure. You gotta have some thick skin.
And then everybody went into this gentle parenting where it's like, no, Billy, don't do that. You're such a sweet little boy. No, you're not. Billy, stop doing that. Sit the down. Like, I mean, it works. It's very effective.
Yep. Absolutely.
We turned out fine.
Yes.
Look at us.
So we're totally fine.
We're
great,
totally normal.
In fact. Totally.
I don't need a therapist.
So I want to acknowledge our no.
Who needs one of those?
Listen, I mean, I don't need a therapist because of me. I need a therapist because of what everybody above me in that boomer generation, they downloaded. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah. That's true.
Maybe that gentle parenting thing. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I have.
But that's why we're so well adjusted, because we all have a retainer.
I just hope mine doesn't leave me because I don't get abandonment issues again.
I know.
Can't leave me after 7 years.
I was away for a long time, and mine actually messaged me. She's like, so are you all right? Like, do you want to get together? And I was like, oh yeah, you exist, and I've been paying for that platform and haven't used it in 6 weeks. Got it. Yeah, because I'm not affiliated with them, but I'm a BetterHelp user. And it's because my work is so, like, because I travel and I go so much. And, I actually started working with my therapist when I was working in Europe quite a bit. And she works some crazy, crazy hours. And so it was super convenient. And now, I mean, like, she does Sunday sessions. So it's like,
oh, yeah.
This is fabulous.
Yeah.
Bert actually just opened up Sunday sessions and people jump all over it.
Oh,
but
it's fabulous.
I don't blame them. You work Monday to Friday. It's hard.
Yeah. So, okay. So today we're going to do something a little different. Other than debatable, we're going to do a would you rather. You guys ready for this? I have not actually vetted this one at all. So let's go into it here. So there's 4 on here right now. The first one is, would you rather every time you get a text, your phone makes the sound of a foghorn, or every time you get a call, it plays the sound of a bagpipe?
I mean, I got Irish and Scottish in me.
I'm
so
going to go with
bagpipe
because I just keep it on silent.
Yeah, same. I don't even know what my ringtones
Bagpipe.
Yeah. Okay. I don't either. It's because it just buzzes on this thing, right? Right? So, yeah, smartwatch. So smart. Okay, here's the next one. Would you rather have an incredible green thumb or be a master carpenter?
Fine. I feel like that's aimed right towards me. I'm a carpenter and a green thumb.
Oh, you got to pick a lane.
I'm going to go with the green thumb.
The green thumb?
I can't keep a plant or flowers alive to save my life. So, yeah, I would love to be a green thumb.
I recently became a recreational plant lady. See, yeah, I would probably go with carpentry as well, but I just recently became a recreational plant lady, and it's because my family went out and they bought these little succulents, and they had them sitting on a windowsill behind a closed curtain, and I found them, and I was like, well, I'm going to try and revive this one. And her name is Pearl, and I've now taken her and repotted her, and she's flourishing beautifully. And then there was another little one, and I named him Merle, and I put him in a little pot. And so then I was like, well, now I need a plant stand. So I went and I got one of those, and I sent it to my friend, and she said, you are not a plant lady yet because these are succulents and everybody can keep these alive. And I was like, well, that's rude. So I'm working on it.
I can send you some of my baby plants I grew from seed this year.
Oh.
Ooh.
I know. I had so many little greenhouses, and Britt still stayed with me, but I was like, no, I need this corner of the kitchen and this corner of the kitchen. Oh, and also this stand. until these guys start to sprout. And then when they sprouted, I had to move them to a bigger greenhouse. And now I also have a greenhouse on our deck.
Oh my gosh. Of course you do.
I can't help it. They survived. They're growing big. They're actual
Nice.
flowers and shrubs and stuff now. So I'd still pick carpentry though.
Yeah. I have a yard full of weeds. They're very, very healthy. Okay. So this one's cute. Would you rather date someone who laughs at all your jokes, but their laugh sounds like a hyena, or date someone who never laughs at your jokes? I'll take the hyena every
Date
day.
someone
Feed
that
my
doesn't
ego.
laugh. Oh,
Yeah, no, feed my
yeah.
ego.
Pass.
I'm like sensitive to
Me
certain
either.
sounds, and I feel like the hyena would just like cringe me.
So then just
As
don't
much
tell
as I
jokes.
want my ego fed, but I do wear earplugs. I have loop earplugs for a reason.
Me too.
Oh, they're so good.
They're the best. They're the best.
Mhm.
We got Emma using them on the golf course.
Smart.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Meg, you can't pass. Hyena or never
Oh.
laughs at your jokes.
All right. Person who doesn't laugh at my jokes, then I can't do the hyena sound.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
I bet you
Yeah, it's
Lexi would
fine.
choose the hyena.
I mean, she doesn't laugh at my jokes, so I guess I'm already used to this. So
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to ask the last one because this is terrible. Would you rather make animal cruelty illegal or reverse the effects of air pollution? Animal cruelty all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, of course.
this is a
Obviously.
no-brainer. Air pollution, we're working on it. We're working on it. So now that's a great segue into something else that we're working on. And so we alluded to it in our last podcast, but we are now in the throes of the first ever Unbreakable Practice Lab. So I get people who come to us all the time, and it makes Josie and Meg have to vet all of these different people. They seem to think for some reason that the Unbreakable Podcast Network is the shopping network. It is not. We love having really great guests. We love hearing people's ideas. We love hearing about successes. As you know, I mean, you've seen some of our most recent guests, phenomenal stories. And there's always something behind someone that gets them to where they are. And I would like to suggest that in a lot of cases, that's mindset. And so we are working with a local to Calgary founder who has a product called William Tells All. And this product is all about mindset management. It's about mastering your mindset, but it's about using your own voice and laying your own affirmations over top of a binaural beat. So we've gone ahead and we've recruited, I think, what do we have? 13 different participants, I
13?
believe, in
13.
I think we're at 13 participants.
Mm,
And our participants are across North America. They're both in America and they are in Canada. We have a range of people from the age of 12 to 47 years old. We have men and women. We have professionals. We have tradespeople. We have stay-at-home partners. We have, you name it, we've got them. And we've got people who work in very high functioning senior executive roles at a global level. We have people who are fathers. We have people who are mothers. We have people who never want to have children, but love to hold other people's children. And so, with that being said, Josie, Meg, we have been practicing since last Friday. So, I mean, at the time of filming, we are a week into our practice. And the goal that we've set is at least twice a day, starting in the morning, doing something at the end of the day. I am really interested to hear how your practice is going.
Mine went pretty good. I had a really successful week, and there was times that I was very overwhelmed with said success. Besides the bugs that I have found and have not found a workaround yet, it was really weird first couple days to hear my own voice saying those things. I think I focused more on the binaural beats more than my voice. I'd say about halfway through the week, it actually felt empowering to hear my voice. And I re-recorded a couple of my affirmations just to really get the impact in there.
Yeah.
Half-assing it, I can tell I half-assed it and it didn't hit as hard, but I'd say like Wednesday-ish, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to re-record my affirmations and stick my headphones in because it doesn't seem to work without that. And it just kind of propelled my mindset to be a little bit more positive. I suffer with imposter syndrome, as I've said many times on this podcast. And for some reason, Wednesday, I believe it was, I walked into a meeting, shitting my pants and being like, I don't know why people think I deserve to be here. I am new in the company. I'm just, an artist, creative director, and someone in recovery. Yeah, just. I'm starting to hate that word when I describe myself.
I've hated it when you describe yourself for a year. So that's okay.
Yeah,
Carry on.
I know. I'm working on it, okay? William Tell is always helping. But I walked out of the meeting and I actually was like, no, I did deserve to be in that room. I deserve to tell the story. I deserve to advocate for these people. Like, okay, maybe the affirmations are working. I kept telling myself the same affirmations I've been listening to. And then I walked out actually confident. And how I went in there, I was actually confident. I didn't, stumble over my words like I do on this podcast sometimes. But it was straightforward. And every question he asked me, I had an answer. I had a 4-page proposal prepared for this. And he's like, well, I didn't need that, but that's cool.
It's nice
and
that
now
you brought
it's being
it.
built out into, right? Exactly.
But
so
this
it was
right?
good. The first of the week, a little bit, but it started to roll pretty good with the app and got a little bit more used to my voice, more intentional with my affirmations. And I think that made a big difference to me.
Yeah.
The bugs
and how
are
about you,
bugging
Meg?
me, though.
Yeah. Well, and so like that's the thing is that this is a very new it's a new platform and so currently web-based. And so what we've done is we've set all of our participants up with instructions on how to put it on their desktop. For me, I would love to be able to build a playlist and play them continuously. So we've been providing feedback to the founder and his technologist. And so my suspicion is that the feedback that we provide is going to help them down the line in terms of how they can improve the application and the experience for the user, but also to just continue to improve and strengthen that application. So Meg, what's your experience been like so far?
I've been enjoying it. Like Josie, in the beginning of the week, I was really hesitant to hear my own voice. I've actually strayed away from practices like this where I have to record my own voice because I didn't want to hear it. So that was one of the things I was excited about, was to just kind of force myself out of my comfort zone. And so I recorded like a couple of the ones that are in the app already, and I just wasn't really feeling the connection. So after a couple of days, I also went back and recorded some new ones that were mine that I felt connected to. And then the beats, like my voice with the beats together makes all the difference. So I've done it every day. I think there's a day or two I haven't done it twice a day, which has been my goal. But I had a cool moment the other day where life has been lifing this week and I just wasn't feeling great at the end of the day. I was in my feels about something. And I usually just give myself some time to feel whatever it is. And then if I find my mood's not changing, I'll kind of dip into what I call my little toolkit of my little feel good things, whether it's taking a walk or watching a feel good show. And I've got a few of those and I'll just kind of see what will feel good and help me feel better. And I found that I wanted to actually get on the app. And so I did. I plugged in my AirPods, got on the app, ran through my affirmations, and I felt better. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So, and now I'm getting much more used to hearing my voice. So that's a great thing.
After being on a podcast, I think this is my probably 5th year podcasting, between this network and my previous network. I tend to believe that being able to love yourself holistically, including the sound of your own voice, is a radical act of self-love. I think that it just it's such a deep sense of self-acceptance. And what's interesting about the app itself is that the founder had built it based off of a ton of other research that he had done getting to this point. When he read Unbreakable, the reticular activating system was something that was just like mind-blowing for him because he didn't understand that segment of the neurological impact of what William William Tell actually has the capability to deliver. And so again, it comes down to like, I'm using it first thing in the morning as I'm letting my dogs out, making my coffee before I go down and do my cardio. That's how I'm starting my day. And then as I'm preparing my final meal of the day, I'm listening to it as I'm doing kind of my wind down. And, much like you, Meg, I used a couple of the ones that were there because William Tell provides you with some things. It allows you to pick a practice that you want to focus on for your first segment. So it could be wealth, it could be self-love, it could be attention, it could be a number of different things. And so then it provides you with some prompts that you would follow while you're recording and then pick the beat that works for you. What we do find, most people really resonate with the gamma binaural beat.
Yeah.
I think I've got a couple of them. I've got a delta in there. And the delta can be really like, I put one of the alpha ones on and I was like, oh my God, this is so intense. I need to turn this off. And I was like, no, my brain was like, it was not prepared for that, right? So you get the opportunity to build it, listen to your recording. Once you're good with that recording, then put the beat on it and then listen to it before you commit it to your library, which I really like. When I look across the landscape of what we are participants, we did a baseline form. And so just kind of give you some insight into how we're running this little practice lab of ours. What we're doing is we gave everybody a baseline form to fill out. And it's a blind form. They go in, they fill it out. We have access to it. We've committed to everybody's privacy. And that's the other thing. William Tell has very, very significant security wrapped around it. So what we are going to do is we're going to be issuing a form to everybody every Wednesday to be able to gather their thoughts to see the progression before we get to the end of the 6-week practice. And we're going to close it out and we're going to let them do kind of a final reflection, thinking about what they started with versus what they said during the experiment into what they're actually feeling. So we're not exactly a science or a study lab here, but what we are doing is we're practicing it and we're putting it into reality. So people wanted to be able to regulate feelings and anxiety a bit better. People wanted to have better emotional regulation, more awareness of thoughts and patterns, increased positivity and openness to new relationships was important. Less intense, anxious thoughts and rumination. Folks were focused on mindset focus and work to become more of a daily habit. Healing some of the inner child. I think that's really powerful, right? Somebody who wants to look at that inside part of themselves. Improving focus and intentionality. So being present in the moment. Confidence and intentionally redirecting thoughts. So that emotional regulation. More focus, confidence, less self-doubt and hesitation. More certainty and confidence when speaking. And, somebody else is just interested to see what happens, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just curious. And then the last one that we had, when somebody wants to have a better attitude, right? So people are looking at this and they're saying, okay, I see the benefit of what it could possibly be. And I want to be able to redirect my thoughts. I want to be able to master that mindset. And that is a really huge part of what it means to be unbreakable, is to really understand those resiliency tools and really specifically inside of emotional regulation. So I want to tell you about my practice this week. So it was very interesting. So ravens have a very significant component in my life. It's a very, very I see a raven and it reminds me of my dad. And if you've read Unbreakable, you know how critically important that relationship is and was to me. So I think it was Tuesday morning. I was doing my practice and I was waiting for the dogs to come in. And so I have a kitchen where it goes like this, and my sink is in the center of this corner. And my one window faces west and my other window faces north. And as I was going through my first affirmation, one of the statements in it is, I am love. And if you've read Unbreakable, you know that that's what my one main affirmation is. I am love. So I have this affirmation and it repeats 4 times inside of the one listening block. So it said, da 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 da, I am love. And this beautiful raven came flying from the west across the north side of my house. And I was like, whew. And so then the second revolution of it came through. I am love. Another raven came flying across from the west to the north. It did it a third time and a fourth. And I was like, is this raven flying around my block, or is it actually just me in this moment? And so I was like, it just left me feeling so wonderful. So then I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, go about my practice, doing whatever. And then the next day, I'm listening to the same affirmation, coming home from the grocery store and the gym, and I reverse into my driveway and it says, I am love. And this little brown rabbit goes sauntering across my driveway from left to right and proceeds to sit in my driveway and nibble off of this plant that's on the corner of my driveway. And I was like, whew, this is crazy. So then yesterday morning, I'm doing my practice and I turn around in my kitchen, and sitting on the corner of my deck, as it says, I am love, is this giant, beautiful magpie with this beautiful tail just sitting there, like blowing my mind right now, blowing
That's
my
incredible.
mind. Like, so, I mean, I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person, but I'm a spiritual person. I believe that there's more to this world than we can possibly have. Whether or not that was a sign from the universe, I don't know, but it sure did make me feel good. Well, there's little Miss Grace Warren. We're already live on the air. Hi, Grace.
Hi. Sorry about that. I was waiting for a while. Maybe it's the Wi-Fi.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Everybody just likes to chirp at me about my Wi-Fi. So, Grace, we're talking about our William Tell practice. We're telling our viewers and our listeners about kind of what's been going on for us. We had some topics that were floating around our group, whether it was our chat or our emails. We're kind of all over the place this week as we got our William Tell practice off the ground. One of the things that we wanted to talk about was grief. We have been getting a lot of questions and a lot of feedback about grief. There's a whole section in Unbreakable about grief.
Grief of growth.
The grief of growth. And, I think, why don't I kick us off here? So for me, obviously, everybody knows that I was grieving the loss of my father and, grieving the loss of the mother that I wanted versus the mother that I had. But I've experienced a recent change in my family where my mom has moved and she's now living really close with her biological daughter, which is fabulous. It's wonderful. She's not alone anymore and she's got lots of great things going on in her life. She's trying to grow a strawberry bush right now. So I think I saw a picture pop into my messenger. So I'm going to have to go and check that out. But what happened with that change is my family traditions, everything I've known my entire life, no longer exists. So,
Yeah.
So
you know,
hard.
and I went through a bit of a grief process around the holidays, and I allowed myself to feel it, knowing that that was going to be my last time probably in the house, that I wouldn't be at my gym there anymore, that I wouldn't be with my community there anymore, because my parents were there for 10 years, right? And so what we've decided to do is we've decided to make our own new traditions to deal with the grief. And so July 25th, my family is doing Christmas in July. That's our new thing. It's our new tradition. And so when I think about grief, for me, it's about feeling it. My dad used to say, you got to feel it to heal it. But I also think that it's just a very natural place for us to be. Like it's a natural human emotion. And I just don't think we like being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable could be good though. I mean, I've learned that a lot in the last 2 years. I've grieved people that are still alive.
Me too.
And that's a whole other ball game I wasn't prepared for. And I think I've worked through literally every stage of grief in the last 2 years. There was a lot of anger at first. I think lately I've gotten to the acceptance stage, like the acceptance they are who they are, their choices that are their choices. I'm not here to change people. And then there's days that, I mean, I don't have them on Facebook or any of my social media, but I do have other people that know them. And when they pop up or their name comes across, it's
People
still
you
a
should be
really big
friends
reaction.
with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's hard to ignore all of it. So I allow myself now to feel the anger. And then I kind of try and really hold on to the acceptance part. It's not an easy process, and I think it will have its ebbs and flows probably for the rest of my life or the rest of their life.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure. But I'm just trying to create, bigger relationships with my chosen family and the new people that I am meeting, and just really opening myself up to have relationships outside of a family that didn't want to be a family, and accepting that.
Well,
But
and the healthy side of it, I mean, and that, like, I look at
Mhm.
that and that's kind of like, that's a very healed space to be approaching grief from, right? When I think of like some of the other things that go on, like Grace, Meg, what are your thoughts in terms of what you've experienced and where you've kind of taken those things, whether it's, grieving somebody who is alive or somebody that you've lost that was really important to you, like, a friend, a friendship, a grandparent. What does that kind of look like for you guys?
The biggest struggle for me is surrendering to the process.
Mm,
Just letting myself feel it, especially when it's someone that's still alive. And something that I've
yeah.
had to do is grieve someone who's alive multiple times. And that
Mhm.
was something that I wasn't prepared for, because as I
No.
grieved that person the first time and I thought I got to the end, and then lifed again and that person popped up in my life again, it just reopened those wounds. And I
Yeah.
basically had to start the process. And so I have literally grieved one person who's still around probably 3 times, and I'm into my 4th time. And
Jeez.
it gets easier in the sense that I can recognize the stages, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still not easy to go through, especially when
No.
you know they're still around.
Yeah.
It's so different when someone's passed on and there's that finality to it, that they're not coming back, which is still hard to accept. But knowing that a person is still alive and could still make the decision to show up for you the way that you would like them to, and they're not, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a hard one.
that's so hard.
Yeah. I think honestly, it's just having to just completely get rid of any expectations, of like what you
Mm,
thought is supposed to be, or, the picturesque, like, because I've had to go through it as well. And it's, yeah, it's just, you got to totally wipe out what all of your wants and just accept what is, and it's hard. It's really hard. Yeah.
Mhm.
that's a really good point. I think my very first therapist, she said to me, she says, God, you got high expectations of other people. And I'm like, isn't that what life is about? Is like, I show up and do my thing and I expect other people to do that. And she goes, yeah, that's a really great way to get let down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
not
Grace, I think
Doing
everyone's
you
gonna
that.
just,
be within the norm. Not everyone's gonna be
no.
normal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
decent, kind, and reciprocal, So you have to just meet where they're at.
I always say
Absolutely.
expectations equals disappointment.
Oh yeah.
It's the truth. It's the
Yeah.
truth. Like, and I think that like it does, it fuels grief. And I remember actually like the day my dad passed away was just, it was devastating, obviously, right? And um when I think about, like, I try always, like I'm always looking for the way to hack my way through anything. I don't like being uncomfortable. And so unless I'm under the bar, right? Like if I'm at the gym, that's where I want to be uncomfortable. If
Yeah, that's
I
a
am
different kind of uncomfortable.
It is, and it's one
Healthy.
that I can manipulate mentally. Like, I know my body's upset because I'm about to, leg press 16 plates and it's
But you're
doing
in
its thing.
control of that. That's
Bingo.
where the big
You are
uncomfortable is.
bingo. And I remember, so if you read the book, there's one of my strays, she lost her mom to cancer. And she was, I want to say 23 when her mom passed away. And I remember when my dad passed away, she phoned to check in on me and, whatever. And I just said to her, I was like, okay, what's the shortcut? How do I get through this as fast as possible? And she goes, Kate, you cannot neurologically hack your way through this. You just have to experience the different phases of what grief looks like. And I was like, well, that's bullshit. I don't like it. And I'm the type of person, I just really like getting my own way. And, you don't get to choose your own way when it comes to loss.
Hmm.
You cannot control that process.
No.
And
It's
it's
So
just
so hard.
if,
painful. Like, you just gotta go through it. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah. And you
every
just have to
person's
be,
journey is their own.
yeah.
So individual.
Yeah, I know we have a couple of listeners who've experienced some really devastating losses in the past couple of weeks, and my heart goes out to them because those losses are extreme. I mean, we lost, just this week, there was a Canadian football player who died in
Yeah.
a terrible car wreck, and he took the life of another young person. And it's devastating, right? And you don't know what happened. You don't know what was going on behind the scenes. You don't know what caused that collision. We have people who are in our lives who've lost, family members in the past week. And it's it's a very, very uncomfortable place to be. And I think one of the spaces that I have a lot of people who talk to me about loss is when it's a senior citizen. And Erin and I were talking about this earlier this week when she lost her father. When I lost my dad, it was instant like that. She watched her father decline and die over 10 years with Alzheimer's and dementia. And she also watched her mother bear that burden. And, consistently, we look at it and people say, well, it's almost a relief. And then they have guilt over feeling that level of relief, right? Like for me, I was having conversations about the possibility of having home care come and help out my parents, or the possibility of putting my dad in an assisted living, which, like, he literally would have absolutely not. Like, I would have been better moving him into my house. But, it's so I didn't have to have those conversations for a second time, right? Erin watched her father suffer for years. She watched her mother suffer as a caregiver for years. And then they feel this enormous amount of relief, but then they feel guilt over the
Guilt.
relief, right?
Yeah.
It's tough stuff. It's very tough. So, if you guys were to give our listeners, when it comes to grief and managing and moving through grief, if you were to give them your best tip, what would that be?
Try your best to surrender to it. Because I feel like the faster you can just surrender to it, you get to a place of peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think mine
Yeah,
kind of goes with Meg's. It's a lot of feel your feelings, and you're allowed to be angry. And if you have to tell yourself, I have told myself out loud many times. Now I have a William Tells All app that I can do that with, but many times I would tell myself, you are allowed to be angry because I have lived my life being like, well, they're your family.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, make yourself uncomfortable and allow boundaries to be crossed and all these things. And I'm talking about grieving someone that's alive in this case.
Yeah.
Is just letting yourself know that you can be angry, you can be sad, you can be upset, you can be frustrated, and just really allowing yourself to feel it, because I am very much kind of like Kait. I just want to get through this and it'll be fine tomorrow. Can I make a plan or a spreadsheet or something to make this go faster? I couldn't. I actually had to sit in my feelings. I had to be angry sometimes for days, not at anybody in particular. And then it would go from guilt, shame, all these things, because we're told, they're your
Yeah.
family. You can't treat them. They're your mother. You can't, walk away from that. You need to do this. You need to reach out. You need to fix it. And I'm like, no, I've done that my whole life. It
Mm-hmm.
is the back and forth. It has always been me to fix it. So then the anger would come back again. And you just,
Yeah.
the days that I actually just sat and been like, okay, Josie, you're allowed to be angry at this because it's bullshit what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's, whatever in that moment. But that was the most freeing out of my whole grieving process so far, because I don't think it's done, but I think I'm at a better place with it. And in 5 years, I might come back full force. It's not going to go away overnight, but really feeling your feelings,
Yeah.
and reminding yourself it's okay to go through all those feelings.
And to
Yeah.
not
How about you,
gaslight
Grace?
yourself too. Like not
Oh, yeah.
question, oh,
Yes.
are my feelings real? Am I being ridiculous? Like, I think that if you
Mm-hmm.
have, I mean, this is not even just grief, just in general, but if you have the feeling in the first place, like there's a reason, and
Yeah.
human. So yeah, don't beat yourself up.
I think
I think that's a
it's
trauma response also.
it is.
Is
Mhm.
I mean, you've obviously been gaslit before. If you're gaslighting yourself, it's something
That's something
common
I
that's
struggle with.
happened, and gaslighting's not fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about the things that were said to us when we were kids. If you keep crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about, right? I
Oh,
mean,
I hated
like
that line.
it's just like you're not allowed to feel your feelings. You know what I mean? And we were told it's unacceptable. So Grace, I think like your guidance is so paramount, because when we think about it, the ability to give ourselves the permission to feel it. I used to say that to my friends all the time when I don't know, I was a young woman. And I would say to people all the time, if you are feeling it, it means you're entitled to feel it. But what's really interesting is that if I asked everybody to list out all of the emotions that they know, most people would only be able to list probably 8 to 10, maybe 15 emotions. There are like 80,
Mm-hmm.
and we
That
don't
is
know what they
You
are.
get an emotion wheel
Yeah.
that has happy, sad, anger, whatever, branches out, and then branches out from there. So instead of saying I'm angry, picking one of those other words to really pinpoint really makes a difference too. So
Yeah.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because it's a good tool to have. You
Mhm.
can print out one, or Amazon has them for like $5.
We can drop a
It's
link in
really
the
helped
show
me shape
notes.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's drop a link in the show notes, because that's one of the things. It was really interesting. I was actually at somebody's wedding reception, and the groom came up to me, and we were talking, and he, I don't know how it even came up, but he was like, "Yeah, I went to go see my therapist, and we were talking, and she said list the emotions, and I knew 6." And he goes, and then she handed me an 8x10, and there was like 80 of them on there. And he's like, I didn't even know that there were that many emotions. But it's like, how many times do you feel something, whether it's you know you're feeling something, but you can't pinpoint what it is. Right? Like that
Most people
feeling.
just say I'm anxious, but it's
Everybody
not
goes to anxiety.
anxiety.
And
Everybody
it's
goes,
not a good way to
and
communicate too, like to be understood to the person you're telling. Yeah.
exactly. And so, I could see something like an emotion wheel being a really powerful tool to pair together with a William Tell practice. And, Josie, we might want to find one, because when we send out our first weekly baseline or weekly form, we're going to be attaching something called the map of consciousness, which just really talks about how you talk about yourself and how you feel, and how you can kind of start to bring your own internal vibration up here, right? Where we want to be operating in a space of consciousness and love and thinking, right? So when we look at like what people are hoping to get out of it, they're looking to get self-control, emotional regulation, and they're looking for mindfulness. They're looking to be able to be present. Right. And, I think this is going to be a really powerful thing. And so maybe what we do is we get, an emotion wheel, and we attach that as one of our upcoming documents that we can share with our
I
team.
already have one. I'll send it
Oh,
along.
look at you, Pikachu.
I know.
This is wonderful. Okay, so Grace, you were a little delayed getting on here, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to come back and do a couple of a couple more would you rather's before we shut her down today. Lighten the mood, leave our listeners feeling good. Okay, Grace, would you rather? Oh, I'm not going to do those ones because those are terrible. Oh, this one's a great one. I kind of, this is awful. Would you rather, while traveling, sit next to a baby that won't stop crying, or next to someone who won't stop coughing?
Probably the baby, because I don't want to get sick. And I swear I've been sick for 2 weeks. So
No.
yeah. I just listen to music.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Pick the
You just
baby,
listen
just
to
'cause you can't be
music.
mad at a baby.
You can't
Yeah,
be mad at a
yeah.
baby.
Yeah, totally. And then when they calm
I'd
down,
probably
they're cute,
offer to take the baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
I'm like the
Totally.
baby whisperer. Just give me it.
Yeah, give me the baby. Give me the baby.
Yeah.
Like I want to hold the baby. I want to make the baby happy. Yeah.
It's an
I
airplane.
am also a baby whisperer. But
Yeah.
I'm also kind of allergic to those. Anything that can't wipe its own ass is no friend of mine.
So senior citizens too, or
No, I love them. They have people who do it for them. Okay. Listen, there is a reason why I had one. Number one, it really, really hurt, and I didn't like that. Number two, It smelled bad a lot of the time, and it was my accountability to make it not smell bad. And I've said to my child ever since she was on the come up, she's 3, and I would say to her, you know what? The older you get, the more I like you. Just keep doing that. I like it.
Just keep doing you.
See, and I want to reverse. I want to go backwards.
Oh, God, no. I'm allergic to those.
Oh no.
Okay, here's another one. Would you rather be very photogenic but poor, or take the worst photos but be rich? Oh, I'd be an ugly rich person.
Oh, absolutely.
Hands down.
I was a poor kid and photogenic, so I want to go on the other side this time.
I look like shit and I was poor. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here,
who needs to look at your own pictures? Just give me money.
Exactly.
Okay, these two are kind of horrifying, so I'm going to read these off. So would you rather have scuba fins for feet or a bobblehead?
The scuba fins for feet. I want to swim. I want to snorkel every day.
I'd go with the scuba fins. No one looks at my feet.
That's what you think. There's a whole page called OnlyFans, and they love that shit.
Basically,
I've never heard of it. No. Is it going to make me rich? Because then maybe I'll show my feet.
It also depends. Like if you've got gnarly feet, don't.
No, I actually have nice feet.
I do too.
I don't have like crazy finger toes or like hairy toes.
You know what?
You never know. I'm sure there's people out there that love the ugly feet.
100% there's somebody who's like, is that a wart? Like it's just like,
oh God.
I mean, I'm not trying to yuck on someone else's yum. I hate that saying, but I'm just like, but you know,
just gotta burn
every time I post
off.
Right. Yes. So every time I post a picture on my Instagram, on my bodybuilding Instagram, if my feet are showing, I either cut them off or I put hearts over top of them and I put no freebies.
I become conscious of that too. I'm like, I don't know.
Yes.
Because some people scope that out. Like they look at photos just for the
do.
feet. I'm good.
No, I have one schmo, and that mother trucker, he sends me videos. Like he obviously sits in the restricted folder, but Megan, your face is just like priceless right now. He sends me
horrified for you
too.
No, I know. We got to keep my feet off of Unbreakable. But so this guy, there are some on the Unbreakable. But
we're
this
back
guy,
but
this guy, he will literally. He's in a restricted folder because I don't ever acknowledge or engage with him, and he has 2 or 3 different accounts, and they all have the same name, but some have numbers on them. And he will send me YouTube videos of women crushing donuts with their bare feet, and like if he ever comments on my stuff, he always puts like little feet and stuff like that, and I'm just like, no, we're not doing this.
Oh yeah, definitely no freebies.
Hey,
sorry.
That's the last thing I need to do. The last thing I need to do is be in someone's foot spank bank. I'm not into that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So here's this one is really disturbing.
This took a turn.
It did. I told you we had to take it light. We had to close off that really harsh.
A little.
So
we've got a thing with feet. Last time was socks. Now it's just.
I know. And I literally
took a lot of debates.
It did. It started a ton of debates. And then somebody actually came back to me and was like an avid watcher of the podcast, little Mr. Shout Out here. So he comes back and he's like, he did. And he was like, so you really like socks is what I took from that podcast. And I was like, no, we just ended up on that. But you guys heard the voice note that I sent to you after that because I mentioned it to my house guest and my family. And then there was like this extensively long conversation about the lost sock, the hole in the sock, crazy.
It's an important conversation.
I would disagree, but that is okay. We will agree to disagree.
Because you don't do laundry, Kate.
That's true. I don't.
I love that for you.
I know, it's so wonderful. Although sometimes I'll just run down and I'll throw a mixed load in and then I take shit for it for a week because I don't separate things into little piles.
Okay, I don't separate, but...
I don't separate.
I don't have
time for that.
Oh my God. Aaron would be appalled. If you go downstairs, we have whites, we have gym clothes, we have darks, we have colors, we have football stuff, and then we have towels and we have face cloths. Well, face cloths and towels go together. Tea towels and bed sheets go all separately. It is just like a make work project.
Okay, the only thing I would separate is my football stuff with my regular
from everything.
clothes.
Yeah,
And
see,
yeah,
she won't put gaunch in with anything other than like, socks and stuff like that and gym clothes. So
Okay, I see that.
yeah, no,
I
I just throw
separate
it on.
towels. But the
Yeah.
rest of it?
No, she has a whole process for the towel. She made me sniff the new towel that she put out for me last night. She was like, smell this towel. She bleaches them and she does this disinfectant shit. Like, I don't know. Listen, I love everything she does for us. I just would not be willing to do it because I'm like, throw it in, put those scent beads in, a little bit of, like, I don't even use like the cup for measuring the detergent. I just bring the detergent bottle over and push the little button till I think there's enough in there.
I have pods now.
Yeah.
Because I used to do the same thing, and I'm like, I probably didn't put enough in that one.
Oh, well, then Ruth thinks she's like the genius because my sister taught her to take the cup that you had the detergent in and just throw it into the washing machine with it and rinse the cup out. So when
I used to put
spinning
it
is
underneath the water coming out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
No,
what I
she
do.
just throws it. She just throws it right in, and it spins, and it comes out clean as a whistle.
Okay, well, some of us are geniuses and some aren't, I guess.
We learned something new today.
I know. It's the Unbreakable podcast. The more you know, right?
I'm going to put that across the screen, actually.
Yeah, you should. That's going to be part of the AI generated bullshit. Okay, so here's the last would you rather. Would you rather? Oh, this is upsetting. This is a very upsetting one. Okay, Megan, your face is already very concerned. Would you rather have your eyes and nipples switch places or your nose and navel?
I'd go with the belly button nose. I'm asking Britt's psychologist group this.
What in the...
Where do you get these questions?
Okay.
From a card.
Okay. What the... Who actually sat around and thought, like...
Stoners, Meg, sat around and thought of these, okay?
But my immediate thought is like, your nose, like, it's too low.
Okay, what would your shirt look like? What would your shirt look like if your nose was at your, like, you would have to have like
year round. So yeah, I'll breathe.
Oh, I'm gonna go navel nose for sure.
Yeah,
I do not want my nipples on my eyes because, like, would you just like wear like? I don't know.
You can be shaking.
Mini bra on your
like
eyes.
concussion.
God,
so you can be able to see.
Oh God,
straight.
this one.
This eye patch ain't for eyes anymore.
How would a bra work? How would a bra work?
Oh, you can make a little bra.
Well, but
and then you'd have like random creepers just walking up, like trying to play with your
that's fair.
nipple eyes,
so you can see.
We'll do a sports bra then.
Bra isn't for the nipples; it's for the breasts. So, like, you would have to have a bra with, like, little eye holes. Like, you'd be, like, reverse Madonna. Like, so you'd have, like, a bra and a shirt with eye holes.
That's just
nipple pasties, then.
Right, and if you're not...
On your face.
Equal, like, if one is not... then you've got your eyes are all wonky.
Oh,
yeah.
Right? Okay, this one talk. So then my question is, and this is, we're going to have to write these people at Would You Rather and ask them who writes this shit. So this brings me to a question that my friend asked me when I was like 14 years old. And I still, like, I asked Erin this the other night. I think I probably asked Erin this like several times. But if our knees were on the opposite sides of our legs, so if your knees were facing the back of you, what would a chair look like?
Oh, what?
Yeah.
It would have to be like a knee chair. Oh, no, wait. You couldn't do that because you're not bending that way from your hips. I need to engineer something. There will be something in the chat later for this.
And then we will be posting it post-production.
Exactly.
This is clearly for the last 5-minute crew who sits around and stays for our bullshit.
Thank you for being here.
We love you. We love you.
Yeah.
So, well, listen, let's wind this nonsense down, you guys. This was absolutely wonderful. So great to spend time with you this afternoon. I was sobbing. Oh gosh, we're gonna nipple eyes. Whew. Okay, well,
I'm gonna have nightmares tonight.
No, you won't.
No, maybe you will.
I'm going to engineer you a chair and a face bra. You will see.
And I would like Lexi to build me the chair as well. I would like her to draw it out for me. I have faith in her. I have faith in her. So, listeners, thank you for joining us. We're so happy. Grace, Meg, Josie, thanks so much for spending time with me today. As always, this was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Remember, protect your peace, chase your dreams, and stay unbreakable.